Hi there, YouTubers. I'm just going to add to the body of knowledge today about changing the calibers on a Dillon Square Deal B. Currently the press is set up for 32 Smith & Wesson long, shooting woodcutters, and I'm going to set it up for 45 ACP, shooting semi-woodcutters. Yes, I'm going to shoot targets for basically ISSF and NRA competitions. One of the first things I really want to show here is that the caliber conversion involves changing from the small pistol primer for the 32 to the large pistol primer on the 45. For some reason I shoot the large pistol primer. I haven't really got into shooting small for both. So this is such as it is. I chose the Dillon primarily because in the write-ups, Dillon said once it's set up, it just works. You don't have to tinker around with it, and I found that to be the case. Then I had the choice of which one that I use: 650, the 550, or the Square Deal B. 650 purportedly 650 rounds a minute. Thought that was overkill. The 550 again overkill. It's much bigger press than I needed. Square Deal B, I can jog along quite happily at 250 an hour. I've gone up to 400 an hour once I was on a roll, but it's not really about speed, it's about precision and taking care. And so it's not a race, but I found this to be perfect. Negatives you'll see is, well, the dies are unique to this press, but I've been very happy with it. So I'm going to show you the takedown. See the bottom of the powder funnel here. Again, I'm very methodical, so I'm just going to strip it right down and then we'll build it back up again. So we're going from 32 Smith & Wesson long to 45 ACP. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the powder funnel off. Again, it's pretty straightforward. There's a tab just on the side, so you can take that off. And it's already been taken off. This is the activator, and that comes off, and then this whole unit comes off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the changing the powder slide once we put it back together again. Next off is the primer system. We have to change that. There are 3 machine screws at the back here that you can't see. Straightforward. And then it comes off. Again, we're just going to strip it down, but I'll reassemble it for its new configuration once we put it all back together. Key thing for me is this is not a race. This is a methodical process. Just keep my bits and bobs here. Next off, we've got to take the tool head off. I don't know if I'm going to edit this or not. It's not too, I don't think it's onerously long. You get an idea of how long it takes. This head is kept on by 4 machine screws. Curiously, on the press, we've got different size Allen keys. It would be nice if it's all in one, but it's not the way it is. Okay, there's 4 off. Off comes the tool head. As you can see here, this is the deprimer This sits on the powder funnel. This is your flare. This is the deprimer sizer, flare powder drop, bullet seat, crimp. And underneath are these dies. This one's on here. Next we'll take the shell plate off. You see there's a little spring there. Some of the eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen that I bought an aftermarket handle. Something the 45 ACP takes a bit of work to resize. I've got a little light in here as well. Here are your shell case holders and the shell plate with its screw. We need to reuse the screw. This time I take the opportunity just to move things around. There's a little detent ball in here for the detent, so careful not to squirt that away. Pays dividends just to keep it going. Keep it clean because it does accumulate scurf and bits of powder, and similarly check it when you put it in. So we're replacing the 45 ACP. Shell plate, it just screws in here. The thing you see, these little locators, they're bigger for they locate the shells on the shell plate. They're bigger for the 32 as they are for the 45. So we're going to have to change those over. I'll do that last. So the new tool head. We have the 3 dies. It's going onto the sizer deprimer. It's going to go onto the bullet seat, and it's going to go onto the crimp. Each one's got its number here. 45 ACP number 4. .45 ACP number 1. And number 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I've got my tool head that goes on, so I've got my decapper, the mouth flare and powder drop, the seat and the crimp. Goes on there. Now we use these for. And now we just screw it back on. I found that this is, once I've set it up for a certain caliber, set the tool head up, I don't need to touch it. It just works. I just have to touch it if I'm changing the type of bullet I need. They need a bit of minor adjustment. Let's have a look. There we go. As I said, these all use the different sized Allen keys. Let's snug it down here. And just give them a quick tighten up. Okay. Now the next thing we need to change is the priming system. This is the alarm, low primer alarm, and we have to change the feeder and also the tube. So this comes off. Here is the small pistol primer. And this thing picks up the cases. So this is for the small primer holder. This is for the large pistol primer holder. Can be a bit fiddly. Put this in here. Give it a quick. This is the red, color coded. See this little notch on the side here? This notch just locates inside here. You maybe see it just going into here. There's notch locates. This guy back on top. And then fiddle them into the back. And there are 3 machine screws to hold them in. And then pick the right Allen key just to slap them down. So that's now changed the carrier. It carries the primer and the tube that holds them. And you've got to use different. Comes with these. Comes with different primer pickup tubes. If you want to speed, they're a good way of saving time or speeding up by having a whole bunch of those. Okay, that's the primer set up. So what we're going to do now is do the powder slide. Again, it's pretty straightforward. This is a fairly new one, so there's a holder here which is a bit Mickey Mouse. Pull out this, and you'll see there's a this slide thing. There's a little locking, and you pull that out. Now I got this from unedited. I'm just throwing 1.5 grains with this, but the one that comes with the Dillon has a fairly coarse thread. You monkey around with that. These guys, I think it's from a Rondo, but I got it from unedited, and it's got a micrometer. You can fiddle around and make one. Just get one where the slide doesn't, the spindle here doesn't rotate. But I found it to be pretty useful. Cancel that. Very useful. Makes a lot more precision, and it's all about precision. So this is my 4 grains, and it just fiddles in here. I don't know if you can see that. This slide will only go in one way, not that way. The holes, if it's off center a little bit, then you've got it wrong. Okay, settle down. Okay, that fits on here. Goes back onto the powder slide, pick up the right Allen key, put this little tab thing on the side here. And it comes with quite a lot. You get the spare part kit, a few bits and bobs that you need. one's had a powder. They've got a no BS warranty, which I can attest to. I had a primer stuck in the tube, and without any hassle they sent me a replacement. This is part of the mechanism that ensures that it doesn't drop if there's no case. And you just put a little retaining clip in here. Okay. Last thing to do, put these 3 retaining clips for the case. Set the little ejector spring. Out onto here, give it a little bit of a pain. Goes into the middle here. I might just edit this bit out. It's the device that, there we go, shifts the shells down the chute as they're produced. And if we put a 45 ACP case through this, there we go. Right, that's about, in real time, that's what it took. It's nice and methodical. And when I come to reload, I put the powder in, check the powder scales. One thing I can recommend is the, I play fairly light weight scales. I use the Gem Pro. The Gem Pro, my weight 250, 0.02 grains. I leave it powered on all the time. It is, it's a very good system. So there you have it. There's a caliber change from 32 Smith & Wesson long to 45 ACP. I hope that assists you if you're making a decision whether to purchase. And this could be the first of a few I'm going to make. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.